Alright, so here is the assembly of the 6-inch PVC pipe ultimate deer feeder. I really don't have a name for it, so I know it keeps changing, but that's what we'll go with. So I have the rest of the pipe that I purchased at the hardware store. As you can see, it's the green sewage pipe, and I cut it in half. Well, I started off by first cutting off the end of it, and this is the tapered end. So if you had another piece, you could slide it right into there. You can see the taper there. So I cut that off, so I had basically just one diameter pipe the whole way around. And then you can see the other side here. It's the male end of the taper. So I started off by cutting that off. Then I measured half the pipe out. And I could have measured 6 inches, but instead of 6 inches, I measured 2, because the distance from here to here is roughly 3 inches. And I wanted a tight fit of the joints. So when we take this, we have a tight fit here instead of a gap. And I couldn't get an exact fit. I knew that from the start, so I just went ahead and I measured 4 inches. So I have a 4-inch sleeve here. I cut 2 4-inch sleeves, and it'll fit in to the pipe fittings like this. So if you can look in here and see, there's a gap in between. And that gap will serve 2 purposes whenever it's all assembled. One will be water collection, because I expect water to get into it, and I don't want it to collect in the bottom, and I'll show you the steps for fixing the T at the bottom. But small amounts of water I didn't want collecting in there, in the bottom of it, so I can take a drill bit and I can drill a hole right in the bottom of the elbow, and that'll let the water drain out, and it'll give it another access point to drain out of there. And the second is to give something for the corn when it comes down to rest on, because it'll just start piling up and piling up. And you'll see whenever we put corn in here, the corn will fly out of here a little bit when you first start putting it in, because it's got so much speed behind it. So basically it just gives it a little lip to start collecting on, and from there we'll have two spots where we'll have to drill holes. So I can put this in here, and so I'll have to drill a spot here, the one I showed you right here, and then I'll show you the main drain for the vertical tube right in there, and I'll show you how to do that. But as you can see, these are the thinner unions and joints. I made the mistake of buying the $10 cap last time, and this is the cheaper cap. But the nice thing about this cap is it's got these circles. I think it's like a produce date or production date, and then a little label. So it'll be a good place to drill my holes, so they're not all lopsided. And the only problem with that is that it's a tight fit. So I'm going to have to sand this down in here, and I'm going to have to sand the top down in there. So right now I have the T glued on with some PVC cement. I don't feel the need to put the primer on it. It's just an extra step. All I did was sand it up, both sides up, and glued it on there. So I'll show you the next step. The next step will probably just be gluing the elbows on, and then I'll show you all my drainage holes from there. So here's the feeder after I glued it together. Another nice thing about these pipes, and I don't know if the more expensive PVC pipes have it, but there's a seam that runs right across the bottom that you can line up the bottom, so you know it's a nice level or even seam on there. The one I took a video of earlier, I put it up in the tree. I didn't glue these together because I wasn't sure how it was going to work, so I need to go back out there and glue them. But I put some duct tape on here, and it held together. I mean, it's a pretty tight fit. These don't have to be glued as much as this does, because this whole area here is going to be taking the weight of all the corn. and the pipe is actually going to be what's secured to the tree. The main pipe will be. So this seam here is more important to glue than these here. These you can leave them loose. I did notice that squirrels were sitting inside here on the game camera whenever I was feeding them. So I'll have to figure something out for that. But if you can look inside here, you can see there's that lip I was telling you that I leave right in here for water collection and for feed collection. This seam here didn't get as wide as I would liked it, but it's going to do its job anyways. You know, I'll still drill a hole there so it can drain out just fine. But yeah, you can see here, this is the elbow. This is the little sleeve that I had cut, the 4-inch sleeve. That's the T up here. This is the other 4-inch sleeve, and that's the other elbow back there. It's pretty basic. I mean, it doesn't take a whole lot of knowledge how to do it. I was kind of worried at first when guys at work were explaining the Y ducting one, and that's a good system, but as you can see, deer can feed from both sides. And I've got, literally the second day it was up, I've got pictures of 4 deer around it, and 2 deer at once are eating out of it. So that's why I decided to build another one. I mean, I got more deer back there, so might as well. Next thing I'll probably do is I'll flip it over and get ready to drill the holes for the bolt to go across. I got that bolt right here. Actually, I'll show you before I put it in. So, just here. And I was actually surprised that this was like $1.50, $1.60, and a smaller diameter was like $3. So this is 5/8 diameter, and I think it's a foot long, or 5-inch threading. Let's see. Yeah, it's 5/8. So this here's the drain. I can show you that too. So basically what this drain will be doing is I'll drill a hole for the smaller diameter, not this top one here, because if I drill a hole for that, it would fall right through. So I'm going to be drilling a hole right here, the smaller diameter, and then this drain will come out right through the bottom, and it will hang down a little bit. And the purpose of that will be for water, so that water coming into the pipe from the top, if for some reason from the top, or if it's a real heavy downpour and the weep holes that I drill here and here, here and here, can't keep up. And I think I even did one here. I did. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It'll be 6 altogether. But if those holes can't keep up, then this will be the massive drain, and it's not going to be a tight fit, and it's not that big of a deal for it to be tight. But as you can see, this is the label. But the water will come out. The corn won't fall out of these. You'll have little kernels every now and then, but it's nothing major. But yeah. So I'll go ahead and drill that hole. Show you how that goes, and I'll probably put a drop of glue here, and a drop of glue here. The purpose of that is because I was having issues with this drain. When I was putting it up, if you watch the video, I had this setting on the ground. Well, I had a little dugout spot in the ground, so that whenever I put it down, this didn't push in, because I didn't glue it last time. So it pushed into here, and it get all sideways. I have to reach in there and then straighten it out. It wasn't a big deal. It's just kind of more of a nuisance, but just a little tidbit of glue it in there. Just fine like that. With the Y pipes, they just get a little bit smaller diameter drain, and they just shove it up into the bottom of the drain, or the Y, and it works probably better than this. But this is the alternative I found, the weep holes in this for this system. Works pretty good. I don't see it being a problem at all. So I'll go ahead and drill the weep holes, drill this hole. I'll show you where all the holes are before I install this, and I'll install this and show you about it. So here are the holes that I just got done drilling, my weep holes. And that's not a hole, I didn't drill that. But here's the weep holes. 2, 3, the main drain, and the other weep holes, same as the other side. If you're wondering how I drilled this hole, I've got this just a 2-inch hole cutter, and here's that drain, just to show you how it'll be glued in there, just like that. So you'll still be able to see down in there. And I'll glue it on the sides of the contacts. So where it contacts is over here and over here, and those are the only places I'll put glue. That way maybe it won't push out whenever I go to fill it up, setting on the ground or whatever, setting it up. One thing I should suggest is when you drill these holes, do a dry fit of everything and then drill the holes. That way you can have it apart and then kind of remount the inside of these holes, because there will be some burrs like that and a little bit of a lip. So you want to promote drainage out of these. So I just took a razor blade and kind of tapered the ends inside of those. Same with this here. I tapered the inside of this as well. I did notch it right here and right here for more water draining, but it's not really a necessity because it's already the lowest point of it. So, and these here are lowest as well. So, all right, we'll go to putting the through bolt through next.